Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Let's get going. So last time we ended with I was looking at using goodness, what was the other library? Um, archive. It's letter RKYV. And I decided that I didn't want to spend so much time with it. So I swapped it out for pass what was it? Passport? Postcard. For postcard. So I was able to implement a test for getting the databases. We have a shard. We get the databases. There's nothing. We insert one into the database using the DB. We put stuff into the database using this key format. Get the response. See that there's data. Add a database. This time we say it's deleted. That into the database. Ask for the databases again, and we still only have one. We add a second one, fun DB. Get the response back from a request, and we see that there are two, even though there are three and one is marked as deleted. Okay. After that, let's see, here's our little list of things to work on. Client request available databases. Turn of list of non-deleted databases. I think we have that. Client requests database info, information about a database. Let's work on that. Okay, here's database info. It is stubbed out. There is nothing here. Let's start with a test. We'll start with something like so at the end. Get database info. Get a test context. Get database info. Is that what it's called? Let's look at the proto file. It's just called database info. It is a database information request. My mistake. And what do we need on one of these? We need shard and name. Well, shard we can leave there. Name. So let's test that there's nothing. And in this case, the name would be Sally.db3. Or happy. Let's go with happy. The trait bound database information request into request is not satisfied. The trait into request is implemented for tonic request. Oh. Database info. There we go. Now, what are we expecting back from this? Our result is a database information response. And what does a database information response have? Checksum and page size. Now, in this case, we are testing that there is no response. So we'll save that for later. Hey, Christopher, how are you? How are you? I'm well. I'm well. Still getting ready for the holidays. This is my happy time. Test get database info. That should work. It has passed very quickly. The year has passed so quickly. Hey, it succeeded. Let's panic. Oh, there we go. Little oh no, Mr. Bill. Yeah, it's passed very quickly. And did that still? Oh, it's building. There we go. And we got our debug info. Response. ERP status is 0. Will this Rust SQLite be different from SQLite in any way? So I'm not actually building a SQLite alternative. Let me bring up. That's a great question. Let's bring up the diagram. Okay. So this is the new stack that we're working on. There's the internet. We've built a proxy. The proxy splits traffic into mutations and reads. Basically, safe requests and unsafe requests. Safe requests go to the reads, unsafe requests go to the writes, the writer. The writer uses SQLite, the current SQLite that you just get off the shelf. We add a VFS to it. Okay, the VFS is written in Rust. It's a virtual file system. The VFS writes to the database and also sends the data to the data plane. In previous streams, we had been working on this side of the data plane. We're currently working on the data archive. So the data plane will send information to data archive, and data archive will then replicate the data to the readers so that readers get updated with information fairly quickly. So because we're plugging into SQLite using a VFS, we get to know about the writes to the disk before the disk knows. So we can split traffic, do whatever we want. Send information here and yada yada. It's basically like a kind of like Fly.io with their LiteFS system. And that's where I started all this. I wanted to build something on top of their LiteFS. But my plans involve having many databases replicated, and their system has more or less a bottleneck there. And I didn't want to shard it up and have multiple instances of an application. And I thought, oh, you know what? It would be fun to just build something that can handle this more quickly. So this requires, so great question you ask, isn't that like journaling mode on in later SQLite? Yes, this requires a specific kind of journaling mode called WAL mode, W-A-L, as opposed to the first version of journaling mode, which was, I think they just call it journal mode. But that version includes just two pieces of information: the actual file on disk for the database with all the pages in it, and another file that you write to, and then shuffle data into the main database. But this does require WAL mode. Yeah. Yes, you have pragma journal mode equals WAL in some of your databases. Yep. Yeah, this would require it because we need to be able to analyze the writes that are happening to specific files, specifically the WAL files. Yeah. Yeah, great questions. And so we are working on this piece here where the replicants, the readers, will be receiving data, and the requests that we're working on at the moment help them bootstrap. Right, new machine comes online. It asks, "What databases are there? Tell me about this database." You think it's a recommended setting for new databases as well? I could see that. And there is another project to rewrite SQLite using Rust, and to make it manage slightly different, so it's not kind of a open closed source system, or well rather it's open source, but modifications have to be made by certain people, etc. It's an observable source code. Yeah, when you say that it's been reported to speed up SQLite quite a bit, you're talking about WAL mode, write-ahead logging? I agree. It's pretty neat tech. I've gone through a lot of the source, just building out this information in order to understand how to implement this. Did a lot of SQLite reading. A lot of getting familiar with the documentation, the forums, because not all the questions are answered in the documentation. I don't remember what they are this morning. So, great question. This is what I'm working on, specifically data archive and as it feeds data plane. Yes, the code base for SQLite is very good. It is very It's a decent read. It's very nice. Very well done. And you see things in there that you only see from experience. So for all you young developers out there, even though it's in C, it's still interesting to read through. Now for this, what are we expecting for this? If you request a database that doesn't exist, I think we're expecting to get back an error response. So there should be a status on here. Dot. Into request. No, we don't want that. We want like into response or into inner. But inner gives us the wrong thing. Open mic. Hey, open mic drop night. Not in C. This is not in C. This is in Rust. Yeah, I started streaming, goodness, about 4 years ago, just to learn Rust. Well, thank you, Christopher. I appreciate it. And this is something that I'll just be working on over time, right? It's kind of my little project. Let's see. Open mic drop night on YouTube says B tree. Oh yes, SQLite. That's basically what it is. Giant B tree. Unsafe. Might as well be C. Morning, Nightshade, dude. Good to see you. Say response. Now we made a request. I'm expecting to get an error. Well, I guess we wouldn't. And this is the problem. This is the problem. Because we have yet to implement this. Okay. Get database info. So we implemented, what was it? The data plane side of this. And the data plane side has this kind of fake archive server that we did a lot of work on in order to stub out for the tests. And if we need, we will come into here and look to see what's happening over here, like databases info. But most of the time, it just passes responsibility back to the test itself. So we're not going to see much in here, but we would look at this in combination with the test itself. It's kind of our expected interface at the moment. So we've been building it out from kind of this side coming back here. And next will be here, and then coming back here. We have that. We need some more fixes in this area. So I don't think that we actually write to the database correctly. We'll get there. All right. Replicate. What if we do implement this? Here's our response. Right now, all responses are, what is this, 4K? It has a checksum of 3. We will be storing our information in the database, a key value store. We'll need 2 calls, checksum and page size. So 2 places. The shard, our little tokens here, and then the database name. So let's look. How do we make requests to the system? In this case, we will not be making a range call. This is for get databases. Let's just do it. Oh, there is some safety stuff we need to check. Reject forbidden shards. We want that. And you know what? We could probably, no, we don't need the prefix. We're going to be asking for very specific things. Okay, we have that. And we will make requests concurrently to the database. So our storage backend implements this trait. We have range, compare and swap, yada yada. These all impl futures. So we'll call get twice and await both futures. Construct the two requests needed for the response. Well, await both requests. Build response. Something like so. So Nightshade, dude, I keep looking at your comment. Unsafe, might as well be C. And I think I prefer unsafe Rust to straight up C. Right? And I love C. That was the beginning of my career. I absolutely adore C. It's just that the Rust compiler still, even with unsafe Rust, just has so many more checks. And you can isolate the unsafe parts to be as minimal as possible. All right. Construct the two requests we need. We need, oh, it's in README here. We need to make a call here. So we need database. Keep trying to alt tab. That's not going to work. Let database status, let's call it database status request is self.db. We will get, now we need a key for this. Let's just go ahead and format in place. I don't know that I like that. Want it to read better. We'll have shard and then databases. I think that's what that is. Oh, and we can go back to using nils here. Let's test this. Changing to exclamations was a bit of a reach trying to fix one of the other tests. Turns out I just implemented the backend wrong. Databases, now we need the database information. Database name is equal to request dot into inner dot name. Oh, we already have the into inner. Request inner shard. Let's just rename that to request. Okay, now that we renamed that, request dot name. So that's our get. We will not await it yet. We'll await that and the other one at the same time. Oops. Let's put this in focus mode. There we go. Let database info request. we actually need this piece here set up. Let's see. And in this case, we want database info. Database info. No. So we have database info. Good. Let's go back to replicate. Self.db.get. Format. Our second request. Let's change this. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Status. There we go. I like it to read a little more cleanly. Sometimes when it starts to span onto multiple lines, I'll break it up into smaller pieces. Now we await both requests. Tokyo has some pieces for this. Oops. Should be a request. Let's use the off-the-shelf Tokyo bits. I think we could use join here or local set. What should we use? We have a join set. Oh goodness, have I been on mute this whole time? Um, so it's complaining about join set for these requests. This looks like our error type, standard error plus static. Fascinating. Required for join set result option to storage error. Yeah, and our storage error is just boxed errors at the moment, which is where I think this dyne standard error static is coming in. Hmm. I want to see. Right. Wait, I can shift focus on that. Okay. We get so much more info here. The trace send is not implemented for that. Okay. Required for that appears to be here. So we need to add send. Appears to be within storage error. Yep. Okay. Let's add send to that type. Oh, here it is at the bottom. Normally I put these at the top. I'm going to move it. Ah, look, an empty tests down there. Let's remove this little dingleberry. Okay. We have range keys, etc., etc. Great. We're working up here. So whatever is in here. Hmm. How do we get into like insert mode? Hit A. That doesn't work. No, enter. That's not it. Hmm. Somehow I did it by hitting I, but I don't know what the sequence was beforehand. Still trying to get used to Z in its Vim mode with multi-cursor. Okay. One down. What's this one? Ah, borrowed data. Which data? Database status key. It can just move into there. Oh, interesting. This just wants a reference to it. Hmm. Fascinating. Borrow data escapes outside of method. Self escapes the method body here. Is it because we have this done twice? So we can clone the database. Oh, can we not? DB implements DB. DB is I think that's a cheap operation. Yeah, temporary dropped. DB1. Argument requires that DB1 is borrowed for static. That's fine. We will await both of them. What is the issue? DB1 does not live long enough. Okay, and this one, borrow data escapes. Clone, extract into variable. DB2, let's rename it. Okay. All because this interface is borrowing data. Hmm. Well, this is a good exploration here. It's obviously owned. It's not going to go anywhere. And until we actually, hmm, well, it did go somewhere. It's gone into this join set, which basically spawns a bunch of tasks, right? Yeah, call spawn on each one. Okay. So if we had spawn on each one, then we have some tasks that could live on forever and ever, which does mean that DB has gone on. How would we do this in Rust? I want to stare at that error for just a moment. We know that it will only live to here, right? But it could be sent to another thread. It could be Rust doesn't know that it's going to live forever. That it's not going to live forever. Hmm. What do we have? Ah, okay. Let's do this. That's one. Okay, we move that into an async block. Good. Mismatch types, perfect. So we solved the ownership problem by moving this into here and awaiting it inside of there. Mismatch types, perfect. So now we can coerce these types into the same thing. At this point, we could use some either type. Are we using futures either on this? We could just have some enum here. Responses. This is, what is this? This is info and status. Status, it has something. We'll get to that. In fact, we do that now. Come on, Vim fingers. Just use unit for the moment. And in here, we will have status. And here, info. Okay. Mismatch types. Yes, we want this type. Thank you, Rust. And here we want this type. Okay. So now we have the two different types in the same type, mismatch types. Isn't this the same type? What is the error? Oh, because it's an array. Would the join or try join macros not work? They would work here. They would. Now, what I am trying, so they are, and if we look at them, so I'll come back into the page, join. Right. It waits on multiple branches, and when they all return, okay, that's fine. What do they do if one errors early? Regardless of error. So I'm looking to fail early. So if one of them fails, I want to fail more quickly and just abort the second one. So that's the one piece that I'm not looking to have. Is that try join? Oh, yeah, the text says use try join to return early when error is encountered. Oh, future highway, thank you. Returning when all branches are complete, okay. or on the first error. Hey, Xenocron. Morning. Similar to join. Okay. Applied features are stored inline and do not require allocating a vec. Okay. Currently, but not in parallel. That's fine. It's network. We're not doing like computations here. Yeah, this would be perfect. All right, let's try that. Okay, Tokyo. Was it task? Try join? No, Tokyo. Try join. And it wants. Here, we'll just do both. At this point, we would need to spawn it. You think macros are always exported at the top level of the crate? I think so. In many places they are. Um, I think standard. I think that's true for Tokyo, but maybe not like standard or some other crates. Like read. Uh, no, that's not here. Ready. Standard task ready. But, so I'm never quite sure. And okay, now in this case, don't. I don't know. No method named error here. Oh, because at this point we have these wrapped up nice and pretty. Okay, let's clean some of that up. There we go. Wait, oh, punctuation character. Really? Can you just point to where, please? Yeah, what did I foobar here? Let's get rid of that. Oh, we need one of those. Okay, let's get rid of responses. All right. So we have our try joint. Thank you for that, Future Highway. So then we just match whichever ones. So together or error. Oh, interesting. Does the error type have to be the same for both I didn't read that, but what if they didn't have the same error type? I guess you could do the same trick and maybe just box the error. So you'd get a boxed error here. It only makes sense for them to have the same type. Yeah. Zach Rip, you miss Halsey Cam. Yes, well, it's less stressful for me, quite frankly. I don't have to worry about the green screen and the lighting and all that. So, but if you want, there's like what 1,500 hours of Halsey Cam over on YouTube. So if you ever need your Halsey Cam fix, sorry, this is getting a little creepy at the moment, but I don't mean that. All right, so we have a let's build a response. Moving forward, match you. All right, so in this case we have status and then info. I believe that's the order. Okay, here we go. What is AOEU? Zach Rep. That's so I type in Dvorak. So this is ASDF. This is my way of that's actually those keys. When I type AOEU, the letters on the keys say ASDF. And so this is me just saying like, oh, this needs to be renamed. Like, I'm not thinking of a name right now. We're just gonna match it, and then I'll come back and clean that up. So in this case, we want a response. Take this, put that in here, and otherwise, we need to return a tonic status. I guess it depends on the error, doesn't it? Because we might want like a not found. We might want internal server error. Who knows what it's going to be? What would this look like? Oh, yeah, look at that. No. See, it's just going to be a get error. Everything's going to be collapsed into that source there. Because we're doing gets, it'll result in a get error. I'll have to see what it is. I don't know what I don't know. All right, we'll get there. Just say aborted something at the moment. Just stubbing this out. All right, so at this point we have status and info. Lovely. Now status is an option to a vector, so we need to deserialize that. And the other. Lovely. Is it from vec? Or from bytes? I forget. Oh, interesting. Do we get a none back if it's not found? Should have written some more documentation on this. let's go look. What does the database implementation use? Return. I think if we get a none back, that means the item doesn't exist. And then if we get an error back, something catastrophic happened. Okay, none indicates the key does not exist. All right. So if either of those, let's write that down here. Returns none if the key does not exist. Something like so. Now, they should both return none. If only one of them returns none, goodness, what do we do? So let's make a branch for that. Okay, none, none. So we have this case. It's a tuple of nuns. Is that like a bus full of nuns? Sorry, I'm thinking Beavis and Butthead here. Man, that's a throwback. Wow. A tuple of nuns. I hope I don't always think about Beavis and Butthead when I think about tuples of nuns. It would be such a waste of, yeah, thought. Error. Tonic. Status. Not found. Maybe we include some message format. Could not find database. Let's see, database name. That's a good question, Xenocron. Xenocron asks, how's the LLM experiment going? I don't think I've seen you playing with it with these last streams. I turned it off. Yeah, that's a great question. Let me take a drink of water before answering that. Okay. So, oh, there goes my phone. One moment while I pick up my phone. All right. Back into the chair. So, yes, I've been playing around quite a bit with LLMs, and for the I don't know last month, um, maybe a little bit more than that, I wanted to really understand how useful an LLM is. And what I found was for somebody of I guess my experience, not saying I'm a greatest engineer, not at all, just a thorough engineer maybe. I don't know. You guys could describe me better than I could. Um, I found that whenever those suggestions come back from Copilot, it stops me. It's an interruption. I have to look at it, think, how correct is it? Can I use it? Can I change it? Is it close? And I would rather get to the point where I ask it questions because I don't really consider that all that much. With little Copilot sitting over here in the side, not being used. Cancel. I could have asked it, how do I blah blah blah, right? Should I use try set instead of, or try join instead of, the task set, join set, excuse me. Yeah, it causes brain stuttering. Exactly. And I find that I can get more done without it. I think that it would be kind of a great help for somebody just starting out. So they, as long as they see it as a possibility, not the way forward. But yeah, I think I've had some good experience with it in the past on setting up unit tests. So maybe we'll try that here in just a bit, right? Expanding on some of the unit tests. Because I still want to consider, like, see how can I use it effectively? Because it's a new tool, right? Um, yeah, a great question. And that brain stuttering was happening so much more with Copilot than just having chat, right? Like, sure, chat, I love you guys here. But, there's little interruptions here and there, but it's all good, right? That's why I'm streaming, right? To kind of hang out with everybody. Um, teach people stuff, show people how this works. So, onward. Okay, this is Underground. You wholeheartedly dislike the chat thing. It just feels like a heuristic Google search. All right. So let me find one. I want to show you something that frustrated me. Okay, where is it? No, not that one. Sorry, I have stuff I don't want to share on screen. All right. So my DaVinci Resolve pieces that I've been playing with. No. So some of you might know that I've been playing around with DaVinci Resolve to automate some things, make the replays more consumable. Um, and one of the issues that exists for me is um, changing clip speeds. So I can segment the video into spoken sections and non-spoken sections. That's done. And like right now, I have a clip that I could render out and upload it. It's not a clip, maybe a 30-minute video of one of my streams that was like an hour and a half. And it basically cuts out all of the pieces where I'm silent and typing. Now, I got to the point where I couldn't find anything online, and I asked ChatGPT, how do I do this? So let's bring ChatGPT. Can I pump up the... All right, I'm using Lua scripting and DaVinci Resolve. How could I change the clip speed to 800%, 800x using Lua? Now, this is not possible. I have come to find out. Okay. In DaVinci Resolve, you can automate tasks using Lua script via the Fusion scripting API to change the clip speed to blah. Here's a sample scripted with this. Okay. So if we look at this example, interesting. Yes, you can get the timelines. I think this API, get item, one of these doesn't exist. But generally, it's almost right, except this doesn't do anything. Okay. That just doesn't do anything. Great. Now, if we look down a little further, right, it tries to explain it. And I say, how do I iterate over an array in Lua? I just wanted to see. And it's like, okay, I pairs, great. My Lua's rusty. It answered that just fine. Okay, skip. That's a long explanation. How do I change the cropping for timeline item in this? I did not need that. I just wanted to see what it said. And it says, okay, here's crop left, right, yada, yada. And I think this might work. Okay. Now, if we keep going, I think I tell it at some point, Oh, wait, here we go. I think I missed one of my responses to it. Setting the speed with set property speed does not work. Right? It's just not possible. All right. So it was wrong. Great. And then it starts to suggest this other thing, which might actually work, but I I have not been able to confirm this online. And when I tried this, I have so many itty bitty little clips that adding this tool ends up making my machine crawl. It's very quick at first, but then um, it very quickly starts to slow down. So I've tried something like this, and there are issues with it. There might be a way to actually have it work with this. I can only create 512, yes, and then eventually it bails out on the 513th one. You know, how can I do that? So it's using one that's created ahead of time and blah, blah, blah. So I think that in this case, it was wrong. And then it gave me a solution that might actually work that nobody online seems to have come up with. Okay. Um, I I kind of aborted with this. Um, and where was it? There is. I ended up finding out, or I'm gonna have to go through some tabs here. No, no, nope. Okay, let me check. Firefox. Did I put this in Firefox? No, it's like it's some interesting website um about DaVinci Resolve. Let me search here. Oh, there's a tab. Let me drag that off Chrome. All right. So in this case, this is called Steak Underwater, We Suck Less. And here's my post. So I found in this forum that the encode like that DaVinci Resolve just uses SQLite under the hood, which is great. And then so yeah, in this topic over here, this forum does not have a search. It does not have a search. So I had to go through all of the topics, like the page by page by page, looking to see if there's a match. And no such luck. Anyhow, through that, man, this caused some stream misses, by the way. But I did find that um, DaVinci Resolve stores everything in SQLite. So I started to go through the process of creating a project, adding a clip, and doing database diffs between those, right? And then I got to the point where I see that when I create, when I create a speed up, an 800x speed up, it updates this table, SM2 TI item, set duration to blah, media time map BA equals, and then some binary data, right? And so I started to, poke at that. And one of my kids is kind of into like cryptograms and breaking stuff like that. And so I thought, oh, you know what? This would be a great time to spend with my kid, my poor child. Um, so we decided. Sorry, I'll get to the chats in a moment. Um, and where is it? Oh, come on. Where did I leave it? Hold on. You're gonna love this. No, wrong one. Here. Here we go. So we started to analyze these pieces of content. All right. So that binary blob is, I think it's this one here. I went with a simpler one first, a smaller one, and started to look at it. So tearing it apart, it looks like there's some sort of header. Um, and then, just noticing like, oh, there's something that represents, some sort of length, and it happens to be something that looks like maybe UTF-16, and it says setup BA. Okay, that's interesting. Then we have some other mystery pieces, another O1 with a collection of bytes, right? And it's just some data. Just like, oh, yes. I come to the chats again. Oh, interesting. Maybe you'd have more luck using actual ChatGPT and Copilot instead of Llama models. But yeah, you notice that sometimes they're helpful in discovering APIs, but you've seen one too many hallucinations. Yes, agreed. I saw Chris using, was it Claude the other day, and that worked out pretty well for him. I think he did have to give it a bit of info though, so which is expected. And then we started looking at Blob too. Right. I think that the value of 6 indicates that there will be key value pairs because we end up seeing length followed by some data and another length followed by some more data. Right? So this max ends up being whatever that value is. Then we get another length and a value. Now I think these are numeric values that are somehow self-describing. I haven't figured that out yet. Yep, another key. Then for whatever reason, in this case, and this could be, I don't know, some metadata about the coming value. And so we have some key, some special thing, and then a length. And this is a UUID, which is kind of funny in its own right, because a UUID is what, 128 bit? So they could have represented it in like just a couple of these, but they saved the string with the hyphens and everything. Anyhow. But yeah, so we started tearing this apart and had some fun. But if I could get this figured out, then I could start to make those clips that I want to make. And I wouldn't even have to open DaVinci Resolve. I could just create a SQLite database and just use the DaVinci Resolve command line tool to say go. So, but yeah, this is what I do for fun, like, hey, let's figure out how to do this and run at it. Um, let's see. Let me go back here. Watch your eyes. We're going to flash to black. Or I guess not. No. Here we go. Yeah, we're going to put that back in the other collection of things. There we go. Okay. I got about another 50 minutes, 50. So let's dig in. So we're using postcard with this. What did I do before? From bytes. Okay. From bytes. Yeah, we're not using the error correction pieces. Yeah, what do we do in terms of errors for this? Oh, that. Mm, this would be a sum. Sum from bytes. How are we looking now? What is status? A vector of U8. Great. Not satisfy. Deserialize. Following implemented. So it doesn't like bytes? Oh, a slice? We have to. Oh, it should. A byte slice. And okay. And didn't we do this before? What was value? It's a vector of U8s. We do not change it between there and there. From bytes. Postcard DE from bytes. It should be imported from bytes. Postcard DE. Is it because status is unknown? I think that's all it is. Okay. That's a strange error. Yeah, yeah. So, some of the edge cases are not handled. Let's do okay. None, some, or okay, some, none. That goes to panic. Okay. Yes, we need this to be tuples. Right. Got rid of one. Okay, back to this. Type annotations needed. Okay. Cannot satisfy that because it doesn't know what type we want. So in this case, if we said we wanted string, it would be like, okay, fine, right? Results. What do we do if we can't handle this? Match and panic? Because we want to return early. Match from bytes, blah. Okay. Value just passes through. But error, we want to bail on. So if we can't deserialize this, that means that we're in some weird inconsistent state and should say so. We will return error, tonic status. What was, let's see. There was a nice, see the litmus test above for deciding between, okay. Yeah, I'm looking for the litmus test. Already exists, no. Cancel data loss? Maybe. Deadline exceeded, no. Failed precondition. Okay, here, that was it. That was the litmus test. Operation was rejected. Is unavailable if the client can retry. Maybe? Is aborted if the client should retry at a higher level. No, that's not going to work. Use failed precondition if the client should not retry until the system state has been explicitly fixed. That might be it. Failed precondition could not deserialize the value for something. Format would not Oh, but we don't want to send this information to a client, do we? We want to log this. Log error. Cannot deserialize status. Oh, wait. Value for that. And we will pass in the error. Oh, that needs to be a semicolon. A string on that. This was already consumed. Fine, clone that. Hmm. What should we say here to the client? We don't want to tell them that, like, oh, you know what, we couldn't, like, there's corrupted data or something. That might cause people to panic. There was an issue. Okay. Something like that. Okay, now we have our status. Do the same thing for value. It is exactly the same as a 500 response. Want to give us enough information to see what happened. So breadcrumbs here. It was for this. Here's the error message we received. And then the other system would get this here. There was an issue fetching information for blah. And this is a gRPC. So the kind of the response codes, I think, are a little bit more evolved than the HTTP ones. But right now down here, status includes what? It's not a string. Oh goodness, it's not a string. We'll get to that. This would be for info. Pass the value through. Value for status. Oh, you know what? We don't need that because the key, the other one is slightly different. Database status request, info key, status key. I gave it the wrong one. Look at that. There seems to be an internal status code for gRPC versus. Let's look at that. There's internal. Internal errors means some invariant expected by underlying system has been broken. If you see one of these errors, something is very broken. Okay, and failed precondition. Okay, you're right. This is more of an internal. All right, let's go internal on that. Info. So we have the key. Yeah, if we can't deserialize the data, that's not great. All right, but now we need types for this that we're deserializing into. Do we not have? No. Here, types. Database state. So we have database state. Is that supposed to be status? Oh, I called it state. Let's keep it consistent. State, state, state. Database state. Okay. Info. We need info though. So what do we get back for this? I guess we get to decide. I think it's going to be page size. Goodness, this is like U32. I think the max is like U16 max. The SQLite page size only goes up to what, 64K. I don't care enough. I'm gonna do U32 there. Thinking about the future for when we have really big data. There's info, state, page size is in info, page size. Did I call it? Okay. I thought I called it the wrong thing. Oh, it's private. Let's make it public. And the checksum, database checksum, state dot checksum. Pretty good so far. Let's rename some bits. Let's see. Join response result. And here, goodness. So this would happen um when would we want to have to handle this error here? This is saying that we tried to make a request to the database. We received some sort of epic error. What else could it be? Postcard. I'm looking for, no, not archive. Nope, nope. Archive. Oh, raw client. I want that tab. So this result, this error, 33 variants, it's one of these. Which one do we think it could be? And how do we want to translate that? I think maybe it's a retry or tonic status. It's our failed precondition again. Unavailable. If it should just retry. Maybe. Aborted. If you should retry at a higher level. Yeah, we don't really know. I mean, maybe this is more of a failed precondition. I'm hoping it's not an internal, but I guess it could be. Duplicate key insertion, resolve, block error. I mean, some of these are retry situations. Region error, right? Like, oh, you just asked the wrong place. column family error, whatever. No, it's not failed precondition. Let's go internal. We need to log it. Log error. Failed db get for, oh, we don't know, do we? We don't know which one failed. I guess we could do both or blah or blah. Failed for one of these. Error is toString. Okay. Then we just return internal. I want to be able to disambiguate between these two. Ah, well, we won't. That won't be hard. Hmm. And this is incorrect. This should be the database info. Database name. Oh, that's fine. This one is database name. That's database name. Now we can't disambiguate. Data and information. Subtle, but useful. Now we can search, find that it's this one. Boom, done. Okay. We still need the clones for the errors. Okay, that's wrong. Should database. Just double checking. Database. Okay, name, key, status. Name, key, name, oh, sorry, info, name, status. All right, now we just have this. What the heck? What do we do in this case? How does this happen? It's definitely in an invalid state here. General panic ensues. Not deserialized value, let's see. We could be more explicit here. I'm really hoping that we never see this error. Or that it's transient, right? Like a database is being deleted, so one of these got removed. Is that even a thing? Would that even happen? No, we just mark one as unavailable. This should really never happen. Only one of the keys let's see, existed. Both are expected. All right, and we want status. Info. That is the entirety of our error. It's an issue fetching blah. So we have three different errors. We have information. We have. I guess these are the same. You know what? Let's make them the same. Then we'll just look for a log line. Okay. Then we go look at the logs for that random time period, and we find an error. Hopefully we get alerted for errors. Errors should be exceptional. Actionable. Okay. Not found. Find internal errors. Good. Okay, this should have broken our test. Let's see. Oh, apparently, replicate 327. Ah, yes. Let's just see what our response is. Could not compile. Tonic. Okay, clone is not satisfied. Oh, okay. TiKV. We must implement clone for this. Drive clone and maybe debug. Raw client. It doesn't implement debug. Wah wah. Okay, fine. And sled. Sled already implements clone. We needed it on sled for our unit tests. Okay. No errors. Great. All right. Panic to blah. Unwrap. Oh, could not find database. Happy. We got the not found error. Lovely. Okay, well, that looks correct. Assert equals response. Oh, that was in the unwrap. Ooh. Dot. Hmm. We're expecting it to be an error. So this needs to be response on the left. It is of type error. Error. And then basically tonic status not found. Sure, I'm just going to take that. Is that close enough? Can we not? Why? Result of tonic response. Well, let's match response. So match arms, okay, an error, yes. Okay, panic. Should be an error. Because unwrap always goes one direction. Oh, we can unwrap error? Returns the contained error. That's what I want. Consuming the self value. Never mind, we'll use unwrap error. That might be the first time I've done that. So we get the error. Error. Okay, but we still cannot compare them. Dot. Ooh. Code? What is the code in this case? Code. And code is, not found. This is tonic status code. I want tonic code. Not found. Okay. Lovely. Okay, so it should be not found in this case. Test should pass. Good. Tests passed. Let's insert a database. Let's give it enough information that we can test all the branches here. Well, most of the branches. I don't know if I'm ever going to test the state where one of the, well, we could. It'll be along the way, won't it? Testing the state where only one of the two entries exists. Okay. So we need to client, not DB. Wait, not client, TC. We want TC. Okay. So we need something like so. Database, we want happy. Let's call it DB name. Okay. DB name. Fun database. This is just DB name. Okay, and the value. We need to serialize some data. Value is 2 bytes. Really? Oh, 2 standard vec. Okay. There we go. We need a database info. Let's see, do we want to have the state or the info in there first? Regardless. Database info, page size, that's, hey, Buffer, how you doing? This is going to be 2.pow12. Is that 4K? Oh, this was U32. There we go. Value. I want to take that by reference. Unwrap the error. Tests are kind of nice in that you don't have to worry about handling all the error types. Like you're looking for them. You just want to have little minefields like that. Okay, we put. Now we do the same request as before. Let's extract this. Database information request. We will move that up. Oh. Shard also moves up. Client error code. Okay. Test errors for invalid state cases. Invalid case. We need to await this. Okay. But we'll make the request again. Now in this case, it was moved. We need to copy that. Clone, rather. We will clone it here again, as we will do this many more times. Now in this case, it should not return a not found. We'll get a much different error. It should be invalid. So we break it, we fix it, we break it, we fix it, and we end up with software. Yep, internal. All right. Done. All right. Now, I want to test the other version of this. So let's remove that. tc.db. Oh, I don't have a delete on the storage interface. Hey, my marmalade. Rust? Yes, always Rust. It's always Rust. When was the last time we did anything else? That's a good question. TC, DB, blah, blah, blah. We don't have a delete. Storage mod. We have compare and swap, range keys, put, batch put, get. There's no delete. Batch delete, delete range. Let's add it real quick. 715-209. How are you, mate? Output is unit. Oh, wait, too far. I've gone too far. Implement missing members. This is for sled. Where's our missing member? Where is our missing member? All right. Phrasing. Do we still do phrasing? Just, Archer reference. Oh, okay. Let's continue. Async move. Boom. Self.tree.delete. Are we building a sled? Oh, we should. We should absolutely build it for Christmas. Little red one. Oh, we need docs sled. Delete, remove. I don't know what does tree do? Remove. Okay. There it is. We'll take key. Yes, thank you. And we should map the error. This will be a, what do we want to call ours? Do we want, oops, where were we? Mod here. Delete or remove? Let's do remove. Oh, interesting. This actually returns the data. Oh, that's handy. But TiKV doesn't do that. I understand the difference between delete and remove. No. Okay, it is much more of a delete than a remove. Semantics. Hey, my marmalade. You ask, can I ask about income with Rust and what you did? What did you do with Rust? App project. Um, basically, I have been studying Rust, and pretty much all of it has been on the stream here for the past 4 years. Um, I have not really done anything with Rust like in for work or production, anything like that. Um, I think it would be fun. I think that learning Rust has made me a better engineer. If you're once you start to program in Rust and like even as a C engineer, right? Thinking about ownership differently. In Erlang, goodness, who owns the data? It's kind of solved in Erlang. There's everything's by copy. So you have no shared data. Um, handling errors, right? Rust is so much more thorough about that. So I don't know. Um, and in this case, maybe someday this project will become something that lives on for a while. And this little project here is it's kind of this much larger piece of a system, right? Right now, while we're working on data archive, we have data plane, we have proxy, we have the VFS plugin, right? And I could see, using this to build out like little websites and stuff like that. Kind of akin to when I was building out WASM modules for Cloudflare workers. It was great to learn about Cloudflare. That information has actually helped me, like in my day job. Um, so I think all this learning has just helped me be a better engineer, a more well-rounded engineer. And I could see this and that Cloudflare project actually morphing into this, where um, the entire stack is, very efficiently run. And who knows, maybe I could just, run, cool websites with very low cost. The piece that I keep staring at in here that at the moment I cannot do um, is to replace the apps with WASM, right? I would need to build a wrapper for WASM. So take some WASM thing off the shelf. But then I would have to build into the WASM container, basically a SQLite interface. So the WASM code would call the provided functionality, and then this would work. But currently, you cannot use SQLite like I need it from WASM. Um, so at the moment, these are just full-on applications that use SQLite. But I would like to in the future swap this out for WASM. So you just upload your WASM into the box. You upload your static content into the box, and then poof, it goes, and it handles upgrades and distributing the WASM code across the cluster. There's no downtime. It just swaps it out. And so this is my, to steal a term, postmodern stack. Right? Are we WASM DB triggers yet? Someday, Zemacron. But that's kind of the long term vision for this. Short term, this would just be like Rust applications, or somebody wants to run Ruby or whatever. I don't care. So we do want more of a remove mod here. No, we want to delete. That's right. This should be delete. Should be delete. We need to map using our uh, toilet operator. See, it looks like a little toilet. Okay, that's done. Oops. Just gonna copy that over to TiKV. It's very similar, but in this case, we don't call remove, we call delete. We do not need map, and our errors change. We need an await here. Self.client.delete. And our keys are different. It's a super error. This should have been super. Do I have error imported? Oh, I do. Okay. Errors all fixed up. There's super errors now. Sled mod. Let's go back to replicate where we were trying to delete something. Delete our key. We await that. Let's unwrap it. Okay, key was moved. clone the key, boom, done. We'll need to put it back here in a minute. So at the moment we delete it. Good. We want to put the other data now. So we're going to test the other case. If only databases key exist. Okay, this should be very similar. Let's grab the structure here. This is database info. Is that right? Okay, key database info. Wait. Oh, I put the wrong thing there. That should have been state. Okay. Go ahead and fill that for me, please. There we go. Is deleted. False. Checksum. 0. It's a good number. ID 5 or 1 or something. Okay, so we have state, boom, done. Info, surprisingly done quickly now. This is not a database information request, though. This is a database state. This is a get database or? Oh, no, same thing. Yep, they both back the same request. So we're good there. Database info. Okay, now we get a different error. Should still be internal. I'm going to break this for now. Aborted something. Run it. Okay, with that, we'll go back to internal. That would be all fixed. Great. And then we need both of them. Yep. Okay, perfect. Save it, test it. All right. Now we want to put this one back in. I could put it in a little function and call it. Make them both exist. Okay, they both exist. This can be deduplicated later. I'm running up against time for the stream, so I'm going a little quickly. Now that they both exist, the error should be different. And we do not need to delete after that or here. Because of the deletes, the previous tests were incorrect. Good. So now we received an OK, which is perfect. Check for success. Okay. What do we want here? We have a response. There is no error. So this is incorrect. I want to unwrap. We have a response. Into inner on that. We want to check the content here. That's database information response. Database information, database, information response. Okay. Fill the fields, please. And we expect our checksum to be 0 and our page size to be 2 u32.pow of 12. Okay. So this should be a success. I'm probably going to test the success by changing our checksum to 1. Okay, just to make sure. And I think that would be the implementation of the second function. Yep, failed because checksum was different. Lovely. Okay. Let's see, what did we do today? Quite a bit. Got rid of archive, started using postcard. Okay, good. Yep. The documentation changed a little. We have our new types for database state and database info that we are serializing into our key value store. Placed the separators with double nils again. Implemented 2 of the functions here. Database info. And what was the other one? And some good tests. Good. Supporting changes. Yeah, this thing's always there. Okay. Get databases and database info. That's what it was. This is for data archive. Okay. Awesome. All right, so there are how many more databases? Stream 1, 2, fetch database 3, and 4. Okay. This one is a bit different though. This is status update. Well, that's it for us today. Let's see. Do some rating. Let's see, same category. Let's search for Rust. Nobody is streaming Rust at the moment except for myself. Wow. That can't be. Which, let's see, is my software and game development. Okay. Well, I have to run, so let's clear Rust and Any suggestions? So many good ones. Only the Rust game. So true. All right, well, let's see. So at least target English. Advent of Code Day 18? What? In Godot? I don't believe it. Okay. We're going to raid that one. We'll see y'all. Until next time. Bye bye.